Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today I am discussing the Switch Lite. I don't know, there's a lot of problems with it, but I also understand where the market is for it. And unfortunately, I still think the market is incredibly small compared to what it could have been if Nintendo changed a couple things about it. So, when I first saw the colors, I like the colors a lot. I know a lot of people might not. I like the turquoise a lot. I like the yellow a lot. The gray, whatever. I mean, the Switch is already gray. I wish it had been like a black or something like that, but I do like those other two colors quite a bit. And the fact that it's $100 cheaper means that there's a market for it. The fact that it is a cheaper console by a third is huge. And I know for some reason people are saying that's not a lot of money. I think that is. I think it's being a $200 price point is about where it should be if they fixed some of the problems with it. Because I still feel like people should save the extra 100 and get a regular Switch. Because the drawbacks, I think, are way too much for the system when it comes to almost everything about it. I mean, it's got a smaller screen, which some people might not care, but I feel like they should have kept the same screen size because it's still a bulky console. So making the screen smaller makes it harder to see when you're playing it portably. So the base model is going to have a bigger screen, so it's already better for portable. And the thing is the big thing that I really wanted from the Switch Lite, if it was going to exist, which now it does, but what I really wanted before it came out, I was like, if they're going to make a model that's handheld only, they have to fix a major issue with the original Switch, and that's the battery life. The battery life is not nearly long enough. People are saying it lasts about 4 hours when you're playing Legend of Zelda, and that's not long enough. I know the max is about 6 to 7 hours, some other people are saying, but that's almost exactly what this Switch is already. It's about 3 hours in the low end, and I think 6 hours in the high end, depending on what you're playing. So, I just don't think that's good enough. I think it needed a bigger battery in this thing. It needed to be able to last longer. I'm not talking about like DS Lite level where the battery just never dies. Same with like the Game Boy Advance SP, where you charge it once and it's good for a couple years. I'm not talking about that kind of battery level. I'm talking about maybe another 4 hours on top of what they're talking about right now. Some of you might think that's a little bit too much, but I feel like 6 hours of playing Breath of the Wild at the minimum is reasonable. I think it's reasonable for a dedicated handheld console. I don't think that 4 to 6 hour range is enough. And they're not putting Rumble in it, which is fine. I don't think there's ever been a handheld console with Rumble that I think would have been kind of cool. Especially because they're already not saving that much battery life. You might as well throw it in there. And with all that extra space of not having the IR camera, which I feel like is a pointless thing to be in the Switch to begin with, and not having Rumble, I don't know what they're doing with all that extra space. In fact, I don't think they're doing anything because this console does weigh less than the regular Switch. Now, I've never really thought that the Switch weighed too much. I feel like if they were to counterbalance the weight to be about the same weight as a Switch and make the battery bigger in it, I feel like that would be the way to go. But as it stands, I mean, the battery level's really not that amazing. The screen size is smaller. You can't plug it into a TV anymore. You can't unhook the Joy-Cons anymore, so you can't do the local two-player thing, which I've actually done before. I've played Mario Kart and a couple other games with people on planes and just on tabletop. I've done the tabletop mode. I never thought I would, but I actually did. So it comes in handy being able to remove those little Joy-Cons and play like that. It's a little bit baffling to me, honestly, that they did not allow for that, because that would allow for people to have a reason to buy more Joy-Cons. Maybe they just want to change out the colors, they want to mix and match them, they just feel like getting new Joy-Cons. I feel like that's kind of a missed opportunity there by making them stuck to the system permanently. I never had an issue with the Joy-Cons falling off while playing it in handheld mode. I understand they want to make the Switch a little bit smaller, but I still don't think it's small enough to justify all of those other things. I know all those other things do justify the price tag, but I feel like it's worth the extra $100 to get those features. If you only play the Switch in handheld mode, I guess it's worth it. I mean, if you really think you're only going to use it as a handheld console, I guess this is a better alternative than the Switch, but I still feel like even if I was using this in handheld only mode, I'd still want all of those other things that I talked about. So I don't know. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on this one just a little bit. It's not, like I said, it's not an atrocious product. I don't think it's terrible. I just think they've kind of minimized the market they could have. Plus, another reason why I'm like, well, the market's kind of small for it is because cloud saves are shit for Nintendo. They're awful. There's a lot of games that do not support it that need it. Splatoon being one of them. I've had experience with the first one where I lost my save and had to re-level, rebeat the game, rebeat all the amiibo levels. It was a pain in the ass, and it was really frustrating. And knowing that Animal Crossing is not going to have cloud saves, that's huge. So they've already eliminated the ability for any current Switch owner to buy one of these things. Maybe I might have thought about it a little bit more about picking up one of these at discount in the future, but now they've lost that because I cannot do cloud saves for a lot of the major games that I'd want to do it for. And I'm sure there are lots of games that work with cloud saves just fine, but the fact that there are so many that aren't working with cloud saves, especially with a game like Animal Crossing, which is a perfect handheld game, it's a huge misstep. And I don't understand the reasoning behind these cloud save issues. I know I've talked about them in the past, but they need to resolve all of these issues that modern consoles just don't have. There's no other games that I can think of for the PS4, Xbox One, or even on PC for Steam that have problems with cloud saves due to cheating. It just doesn't exist. How can all of these other games, even going back to the 360 in the cloud saves, how can they do all of that just fine, but Nintendo can't? I really don't understand that. And I don't even know if you can play with friends yet in Super Mario Maker 2. It's just all of these little issues that Nintendo has that kind of culminates into making this new product not worth getting for previous Switch owners, and almost making me recommend, like I said, I would still rather just have a regular Switch, even if I only played in handheld mode, just because they made all of these other concessions. If they had, what I think they could have done to still make it cheaper while allowing it to have Joy-Cons is to put Joy-Cons on the system that are like the controllers on it right now. So have the D-pad one on there and have it only work in handheld mode, because there are Joy-Cons out there that you can buy third party that only work in handheld mode. They don't work, they don't have motion controls in them, I believe. I don't remember exactly how they work. I think they have to be attached to it. They're not wireless, something like that. There's some reason that they're cheaper and they've got a really good D-pad on them, but you could do that with the Switch right now, or the Switch Lite. So you could just have the other Joy-Con that normally is wireless as well, again, not be wireless, not have the IR thing, and not have the rumble in it, but still make it a fully functional Joy-Con otherwise. I think that would have been better. Actually, I guess you would have had to have wireless in both of those situations, because then you still can't do the two-player. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't do it when it comes to cost saving, but I feel like there are other ways they could have saved money and still kept a lot of the things that I said are kind of deal breakers. And like I said, I don't think the slightly smaller size is a huge deal. I mean, it's already a bulky system. You're already going to have a case for it. I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue, or save a whole lot more room now that it's slightly more portable. I mean, I do love the look of it. I gotta say, I really do like the look of it. It looks slick. It really reminds me of the PS Vita, especially the turquoise one, because I have a turquoise PS Vita. And the tech geek inside me that just likes to buy new stuff is like, I want one, but I can't find a reason. Because like I said, the cloud saves, and mainly the cloud saves, honestly, that kills the fact that people that own a Switch already are just, they're not going to buy this. It's just, you can't You can't have your saves carry over. And that's a huge problem with me. And if they're going to go small, maybe even make it smaller and just put like an OLED in it. Literally make a Vita. Make a Vita that plays Switch games. And I think you've got, minus all the other gimmicks that the Vita had, but make a Switch Vita thing with just a beautiful screen and you've got yourself a winner. But because of the cloud saves and because of the size issues and all that other stuff, I just don't think that this is going to have a huge market. And I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Maybe I'm completely wrong here. Maybe my take is completely different from what a lot of other people are saying. I don't know. I haven't really watched anybody else's video about this. I just kind of saw the trailer for the system, looked at the specs, and went, I just wish it was more portable. I wish it was more portable friendly because that's what they're trying to go for. I don't know. Thanks for watching, everyone. And like I said, leave a comment about what you think. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys. Drinking passion fruit LaCroix. Quite delicious. I love the yellow one, I gotta say. I love the turquoise and the yellow one. I just love these colors. I really do. I wish I had a reason to get this. I wish it had a better screen. If it had a better screen, oh, I'd be a little bit more tempted, but the Switch is already a portable device, so you can't sell me a portable version when I've already got the portable version.